What if the one thing keeping you from real clarity isn't a lack of effort, but the fact that you've forgotten what you actually are? Every day you wake up and immediately begin performing. You perform for your inbox. You perform for people who barely remember your name by nightfall. You scatter yourself across 100 things that demand your attention, and the one thing that could actually change your life sits quietly inside you, untouched, waiting. There's a tradition of wisdom, not tied to any single culture or era, that has always pointed to the same truth: the human being is not simply a mind, not simply a body, not simply a collection of habits and outputs. There is something deeper in you. Something that was placed there before the world got its hands on you. Something that knows. And that something is not asking you to optimize. It's asking you to return. Today you're going to discover the one practice that changes everything. It's not a productivity hack. It's not a mindset trick. It's older and quieter than that. And once you feel it, you'll wonder how you lived so long without it. If you're ready to stop drifting and start living from the inside out, drop "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Let's begin. Let's be honest about where you are. You wake up and before you've taken a single breath with intention, you've already given yourself away. The phone. The notifications. Someone else's urgency. Someone else's opinion about something that has nothing to do with your actual life. You absorb it all, the anxiety, the noise, the performance of other people, and you carry it into your day without even choosing to. At work, you're pulled in 12 directions at once. You're busy but not purposeful. Moving but not forward. And deep down, there's a hollow feeling that all this effort doesn't add up to anything that truly matters. And then there's the talking. You talk about your plans before you've taken the first step. You share your wounds with people who have no medicine for them. You defend yourself to critics who were never really listening. You explain, justify, announce, perform, and somewhere in all that noise, the thread back to yourself gets thinner and thinner until you can barely feel it anymore. Here's the truth that cuts deeper than any self-help formula: you are not lost because you lack discipline. You are lost because you've been living on the surface of yourself. You've been responding to what the world reflects back at you instead of listening to what lives inside you. And the world is a loud mirror. It amplifies your fear, your ego, your hunger for approval, but it does not show you who you actually are. The wisdom traditions of the world, across centuries, across cultures, have always agreed on this one diagnosis: the root of human suffering is not ignorance of the world. It is estrangement from the self. Not the performed self. Not the self that wants to be seen and validated and admired. But the deeper self. The self that came into this world already oriented toward something real. The self that carries, whether you've named it or not, a sense of purpose that no amount of noise can permanently bury. This is the condition most people never escape. They spend their entire lives in reaction. They live according to what others want from them, what trends reward them for, what fear keeps them reaching toward. They are capable of something profound. You can feel it when you look at them, you can feel it when you look at yourself, but they never go deep enough to find it. And the years pass. You don't want that. If you're still here, still listening, something in you is already leaning toward the door back in. You're tired of the noise. You're tired of performing. You want to feel real again. The good news is this: you don't have to go anywhere to find what you've lost. You just have to stop running from it. So what is the practice? What is the habit that changes everything? It's this: turn inward, and learn the power of sacred silence. Not the silence of withdrawal. Not the silence of someone who has given up. The silence of someone who has finally realized that the answers they've been seeking outside themselves were always living in the deeper rooms of their own being. Turning inward means returning your attention, your real attention, not the distracted fragment of it you usually offer yourself, to the question that actually matters: who am I beneath all this? What was I made for? What is the truest thing I can offer this day? These are not abstract questions. They are the most practical questions a human being can ask. Because when you don't ask them, someone else answers them for you. The algorithm answers them. The crowd answers them. The part of you that's just afraid answers them. And sacred silence. It means resisting the compulsion to speak before you've understood. To react before you've felt. To announce before you've built. To perform before you've lived. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming real. It's about recognizing that every word spoken prematurely, every plan announced before it's rooted, every wound broadcast before it's processed, leaks something essential from you. The energy of becoming. The quiet momentum of a life actually taking shape. Silence is not emptiness. It is the condition in which the deeper self can finally be heard. There is a reason that every tradition of genuine wisdom, across every culture, every age, begins not with speech but with stillness. Not because the world doesn't matter, but because you cannot truly engage the world without first knowing who is doing the engaging. Consider this: the great figures of interior history, those who moved through the world with what we'd call presence, weren't remarkable for how much they said. They were remarkable for how fully they inhabited what they knew. Their words landed because they came from somewhere true. Their actions carried weight because they weren't performing for an audience. They were living from a center. That center is available to you. Right now. It has never left. You've simply been too loud to hear it. Here's what this looks like in practice, because it's simpler than it sounds, though not easier. You wake up in the morning and, before the world gets in, you give 5 minutes to your own inner life. No input. No output. Just you, present to yourself. You ask, what actually matters today? What is mine to do? What can I offer that is genuine? You don't answer with the first thing your anxious mind throws up. You wait. You listen a little deeper. You let the surface noise settle until something quieter rises. When someone criticizes you or challenges you, you don't respond from the wound. You pause. You ask whether there is truth in what they've said. If there is, you receive it without shame. If there isn't, you let it pass without defense. Either way, you don't burn your energy justifying yourself to someone who doesn't have the capacity to understand you yet. Your life is not a case you are building for a jury. When you feel the pull to announce your new goal, your new project, your new beginning on social media, you wait. Not because sharing is wrong, but because premature announcement often substitutes for doing. The energy that should go into building gets spent performing the idea of building. Stay quiet. Let the roots go down before you reach for visibility. The work, when it is real, will speak. When chaos arrives, and it will, you don't merge with it. You step back internally. You ask yourself, what is actually within my reach right now? What is mine to respond to? And you focus only on that, not with detachment, but with the kind of grounded presence that suffering actually needs from you. There is something almost revolutionary about this in our current moment. The entire architecture of modern life is designed to keep you on the surface, reactive, distracted, performing, comparing. Every platform is engineered to make you feel that to exist is to broadcast. Every notification is a small vote against your inner life. But the part of you that is deepest, the part that carries your real longing, your real capacity for love and meaning and purpose, that part does not operate on the surface. It operates in the depths. And it requires something the modern world almost never offers, the willingness to be still. The great truth that wisdom traditions have always carried is this: the human being is not self-made. You did not give yourself your longing for beauty. You did not install in yourself the ache for meaning that never fully goes away no matter how much you achieve. You did not design the part of you that recognizes real love when it arrives, or recoils from betrayal, or rises towards something worthy at the cost of comfort. That was given to you. You arrived already oriented towards something true. And when you are estranged from that orientation, when you are living on the surface of yourself, you feel it as a kind of homesickness you can't quite name. Turning inward is not self-obsession. It is the journey home. It is the act of taking seriously the reality that you are more than your performance, more than your productivity, more than what the world reflects back at you. There is something in you that participates in something much larger than you. And it asks only one thing of you: presence. Here's the paradox, and it is real. The less you speak without purpose, the more weight your words carry when you do speak. The less you react impulsively, the more impact your actions have when you move. The less you chase external approval, the more quietly certain you become about who you are. The world will notice this before you fully understand what has shifted. People will feel something in your presence that they cannot entirely explain. They will feel that you are actually there. Not performing. Not angling. Just there. This is not a power play. This is what human beings do when they stop outsourcing their reality to external noise. They become more themselves. And more themselves is always more than enough. Let me show you what life looks like when this becomes your practice. You wake up and there is a quality to the morning that wasn't there before. Not because circumstances have changed, but because you are meeting the day from a different place. There's a thread in you that's intact. A sense of knowing what you're here to do today, not because someone told you, but because you listened for it. At work, you're no longer fragmented. You've made peace with the fact that you cannot attend to everything, and that trying to do so is a betrayal of the things that actually matter. You focus. You move from priority to priority with something approaching genuine intention. When distractions rise, and they will, you don't judge yourself for noticing them. You simply return. Again and again, you return. People begin to experience you differently. You're not drawn into the drama that used to consume hours of your life. You're not defending yourself to people who never had the ability to wound you to begin with. You're not performing for an audience whose approval you don't actually need. And because you're not doing those things, when you are with someone, you are actually with them. You listen. You see them. And people feel that in a way that's rare enough to be remarkable. Your goals become clearer because you're not diffusing them with noise. The private, quiet work of building something real, something that aligns with what you were actually made for, that work has an energy to it that premature announcement always interrupts. When the time comes, the work speaks for itself. You reclaim your time. Hours that used to dissolve into reaction and comparison are yours now, to think, to create, to rest, to love, to pray, to be present in the ways that actually restore you. You are no longer running on the fumes of performance. You are running on something that replenishes. And perhaps most surprisingly, suffering, when it comes, and it comes for everyone, no longer undoes you in the way it once did. Because you've learned that suffering is not a malfunction. It is often the very thing that drives you deeper into yourself, toward the question of what truly matters. The wound, when you don't run from it, becomes a doorway. You emerge from difficulty not untouched, but more yourself. More real. More grounded in what you actually know. This is not some distant possibility. This transformation doesn't require a perfect life or perfect conditions. It begins the moment you make a single choice, to take your inner life seriously. To give the deepest part of yourself the attention it has always deserved. You don't need to announce this choice. You don't need to build a personal brand around it or post about it or convince anyone else to join you. The whole point is that you stop doing that. You just live it. Quietly. Consistently. From the inside out. Here is your challenge for the next 7 days. Every morning, before you give yourself to anything else, spend 5 minutes in silence with the only question that matters: who am I today, and what is mine to do? Don't reach for your phone. Don't fill the space with noise. Just sit with it. Let the surface chatter pass through. Wait for what's underneath. Throughout each day, practice the pause before the reaction. The breath before the response. The inward check before the outward performance. Resist the urge to announce what you're building. Build it. In private. With your whole attention. Let the results speak when they're ready. And when the world gets loud, when the noise peaks, when the demands pile up, when you feel yourself scattering, come back. Just come back to the one question: what is actually mine to do right now? Watch what happens. Watch how your clarity returns. Watch how the weight you've been carrying without realizing it begins to lift. Watch how the people around you begin to feel the difference in you, even before you say a word. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not missing something the world has and you don't. The thing you've been looking for has been waiting for you inside the part of yourself you've been too busy to visit. Go there. Stay a while. Come back changed. Leave a comment below: I'm turning inward, if you're ready to begin. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. This is just the beginning of the conversation. Thank you for being here. Stay still. Stay true.